You want to have that information, and I know many of you like to listen to the broadcast because I give it to you straight, not watered down. We go to the sources, and we talk about it. We talk it through it, and we do it from a human perspective, not a digital newsroom. We don't have a bunch of censored folks with pens crossing stuff out, telling me what I can and can't say. That's the freedom of a listener-supported broadcast, and that's the beauty. I have nobody telling me what I can and can't say. I can't say that's true about a lot of talk show hosts out there. Program director is knocking on your door. Somebody at corporate calls and says, nope, you can't talk about that. Anybody that adds, some advertising from, month to month or something like that for a short run or a long, they know what they're getting into. It's a conservative broadcast. You don't have to blush with your family. You don't have to be embarrassed. We try to keep it family friendly. We try to keep it fresh, piffy, all that good stuff. Here is another for the Dems. Al Franken, that was a big blow to the Dems with the accusation against them, and several of them. But now there's a very powerful Dem. Did you hear this? Representative John Conyers. Oh, yeah. Hit by report of sexual conduct with ex-staffers. Sexual harassment bombshell. That's the headline. It says, is rocking Capitol Hill after a report claimed powerful Democrat Representative John Conyers settled a complaint with an ex-employee who said that she was fired because she did not succumb to his sexual advances. Michigan Representative Conyers, the longest-serving House member, reportedly settled this case we're talking about today, folks, in 2015 after allegedly making repeated sexual advances to female staff. In documents that were obtained by BuzzFeed News, several former staff members reportedly accused Conyers of requesting sexual favors, as they put it, rubbing their hands sexually and rubbing their legs and backs. The central woman in the case reportedly believed she had no other option than to remain quiet and take the settlement. I was basically blackballed. There was nowhere to go. Her identity remains anonymous, reportedly due to fears of retribution. Conyers, how old is he? 88 years old? He served in the House for decades, as some of you might know that, but he has, and he was active in the civil rights movement and helped found the Congressional Black Caucus, and now the top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee. So this is pretty big, folks. Wow. But it's on record. Greta Van Susteren, she had she's a lawyer, but she used to have that show On the Record. Loved it. Missed that. But, in 2015, making repeated sexual advances paid her off. It was a payoff. Now, Fox News did that for Bill O'Reilly. Reportedly for years, they did it, and it just became too costly after the New York Times blew that bombshell. It's just, man, this is bad. This is bad. But they're coming out, and I'm telling you, this is just the beginning. I mean, this is just so riddled with sex. It's just everywhere. My goodness, I mean, people can't control themselves. It just, with these kind of positions, geez, really? House Speaker Paul Ryan called the report extremely troublesome in a statement released today, actually. He noted he already had directed the Committee of House Administration to conduct a full review of all policies and procedures related to workplace harassment and discrimination. Fox News has not independently confirmed the allegations, and Conyers' office did not respond to requests for comment. According to BuzzFeed News, though, the Congressional Office of Compliance did not confirm or deny dealing with the case. Pursuant to the Congressional Assembly Act, the OOC cannot comment on whether matters have or have not been filed with the office. Laura Seach, Publications and Outreach Manager at the Office of Compliance, was telling BuzzFeed this. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi of California said that she was not aware of the reported settlement involving Conyers. And now Senator Al Franken has now been accused by two women of groping them without consent and another one at a fair just recently. And Pelosi pointed to new legislation to put forth by Democratic Representative Jackie Speier, which the Democratic leader said would provide much-needed transparency on these arrangements and make other crimes critical reforms. I strongly support her efforts, Pelosi says. The report said the women who settled with Conyers ended up with confidentiality agreements, say that real fast, in exchange for, well, it's rough for me, and for roughly $27,000 settlement, which reportedly came from Conyers' office budget, as opposed to a massive fund that has been used to settle hundreds of cases with federal employees. The revelations about Conyers' alleged conduct, and they have to put that in there, alleged conduct, are just the latest in a series of allegations shaking the halls, as they put it, Capitol Hill in recent days. Last week, a TV and radio broadcast host that was located in California, Lee Ann Tweeden, accused, remember this one last week, Al Franken, of groping and kissing her without her consent. On Monday, a second woman, Lindsay Mentz, accused Franken of groping her in 2010 while they took a photo together. And Senate Republican candidate Roy Moore in Alabama is battling multiple allegations. The woman whose account started the controversy spoke out, and we played the audio from the Today Show, and she said she was absolutely not paid to go public. That's, I had to add that in there because in the first segment I said, what would be the motive? Pay? Popularity? Prestige? Oh my goodness, look what I did. It's like Monica Lewinsky, the stigma of being the White House, what? It's not a badge of honor. And believe it or not, men go through this. Men get raped too. And I know some of you are sick. You'd like it. But seriously, it does happen, believe it or not. There's men that are overtaken and they're shamed. But it's probably not as prevalent. But just lately, there's been this weird string of, teachers? Teachers that like young students. Lots of that parading all over the country. That's, I think, and I go back to what I've said with the disintegration of the entertainment business. Every movie that just about comes out from Hollywood, not all, but the faith-based movies I like. But it just seems like it's just overly sexy, and you wonder why people do this. I did stumble upon something, and from time to time I like to share it, but if you like great programming, wholesome entertainment, faith-based stuff, there is an alternative. Well, you can watch the Hallmark Channel, and you can watch reruns of Highway to Heaven with Michael Landon. And by the way, that was one of my favorite shows. My daughter actually likes it. It was just well done. Good moral stories, helps people, yada, yada. It's called Pure Flix. And I'm not making a dime off talking about this right now, but it's a portal that you can get through just about, any device. It's an app that allows you to watch programming, and yes, there's a subscription. But the idea is that you're not going to have programming that you're going to have to call into question with your children or yourself, and you don't have to have that imagery put in front of you and shoved down your mouth. Pure Flix. Check it out. It was just introduced to me by a friend, and it's just nice to have that wholesome entertainment. You just walk away feeling better about things. I just think that Hollywood goes way overboard, and they wonder why people act the way they think they act out what they see in the movies. You ever hear the saying, monkey see, monkey do? Human beings do it, and even into adulthood. They just do it, and it's extremely frightening. But they act this out, and no repercussions until they are found out. Then they're so embarrassed. All these women are crazy. I never did it, lie and deny. Anyways, let's move on to a story that we talked about, Border Patrol, yesterday. Just a little follow-up. Sandy Fitzgerald from Newsmax put this together, so I would like to give credit to her. But she was talking about the Department of Homeland Security and said that, according to Chaffetz, did not respond quickly enough to the death of a Border Patrol agent and the injuries of his partner, as they didn't put a noose around the area to catch their attackers or issued a statement in a timely manner. Former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz said today they didn't catch these proprietors. Chaffetz, now a commentator on Fox News, they didn't put a noose around that and tighten it and catch these folks. They didn't do that, and they delayed that statement. This should not happen. Sound off on murdered border agent on Twitter. In a statement, the agency said Border Patrol agents from Big Bend sector and the Culberson County Sheriff's Department secured the scene, and that the Border Patrol Special Operations Group and agents CBP's Air and Marine Operations was searching the area for potential suspects or witnesses. I think Homeland Security is doing a great job of injustice when they put out that statement and said we blanketed the area. Chaffetz said no, they didn't. They didn't catch these predators. They didn't put a noose around that and didn't tighten it and didn't catch these proprietors. And they didn't do that. They delayed that statement. Meanwhile, amidst all of this accusations, a U.S. official said the surveying agent who had radioed in for help, he said he doesn't remember what happened. Martinez was found at the bottom of a 14-foot culvert where investigators said that he may have fallen. The area where the men were injured is well known for drug activity. The FBI said Monday that the agents were found Saturday night. Customs, however, did not issue its statement on the injuries until Sunday. Several officials, though, have said Martinez and his partner were attacked by Rush Carter, a supervisor for the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol region that included the area where Martinez died, said the agency can only confirm that the men were injured while performing their regular duties. We are waiting for the investigation to fully determine how those injuries happened. Chaffetz, of course, said today he's spoken with people who worked the area where Martinez and his partner were injured, and he's angry about the incident. Most of the time when these agents go out, they are going by themselves, said Chaffetz, in the wee hours of the morning. An alarm goes off. He is following some tracks and is ambushed and killed. He also insisted that Americans should not be fooled to think that everyone who is coming across the border just wants to make their lives better. Come on, Chaffetz said. They are running drugs and doing other nefarious things. These are very bad actors out there. I'm totally on board with the president. Build that wall. U.S. District Court Judge William Ork ruled out the administration's argument that Trump's order applied to just a small amount of money and that he couldn't set rules on spending that Congress has approved. The way to actually solve this is actually on December 8th, said Chaffetz, explaining that the reauthorization for the government's funding bill has to happen by then. One or two sentences placed into the funding bill, which will pass, will solve this problem, give the president the authority. Ork, he has added, is a clear partisan who has no desire to help Trump. But Congress has a responsibility to give the president this option, and they can do it week after next. Build the wall, because more of this is going to happen at an increase. And these bad hombres, as Donald Trump has called them, are just that. The gang, the drugs, it's just coming across our border. We don't catch all of them. And when we confront them, our agents are getting killed. Now, 39 border agents killed